Hello everyone, it's me Ahmed Radwan, and today we are going to continue our series about PHP from scratch, and we will speak today about functions. Functions in PHP are two types. The first kind or the first type of functions is the built-in functions. Those functions are built in PHP itself. You don't need to create them, and we are going to talk about them later when we need them. The second type of functions are the user function, or the function that a user or a programmer create to help him or her doing something in PHP, and that's what I will talk about it today. So let's have some fun with functions. In order to create a function in PHP, we have to use the keyword function like that, function. Okay, then as usual, as you may expect if you have seen my tutorials about if and if else and while and for, usually there are two kinds of brackets, round brackets, then the curly brackets. Okay, I like to do it this way, to make the curly bracket like that, and just to make it easier to read. It's the same also in function, but I have to give the function a name. So in order to give a function a name, I will go after the keyword function and before the round bracket like that, and I give it a name. The name of the function can be anything, but it's also follow the way you name a variable, but no need for the dollar sign. Okay, you don't need to place a dollar sign here. So I will just call it test like that. You can call it whatever. So now I have already created a function, okay, and its name is test, and this function here can or may not take some parameters. Parameters are just values that the programmer wants to pass to the function. For example, if I want to pass the function a variable that's called the name of a person, and I want to display hello, for example, for that person, I can pass it here. Okay, but just for now I will not pass any variable to the function, you see, because this is just I'm showing you how to get started with the function and at the moment. So whatever I want the function to do, I will place it between the curly brackets here. So just to make it as simple as possible, I'm going to just say echo hello, and now all what I can say to you, congratulations, you have created your first function. So in order to create a function, I have to use the word function, I have to use the round brackets and the curly brackets, and I have to give it a name. Okay, whatever I want the function to do should be placed between the curly brackets, as you can see here. This curly brackets can take as many statements as you like. Maybe you can find some functions that talk about 1 page, 2 pages. It's up to you. You can place whatever you want. Function can be created in any place in the PHP script. Can be at the top, can be at the middle, can be at the bottom. Any place is not important. Okay, all of them are correct. Now if I want to call the function, I can call it also from any place within the script itself. Okay, also I can call a function from another script, but we are not going to talk about this now. We are going to talk about it later. Okay, so now I want to call this function. I can just call it by its name like that, test, and because it's a function I will use the brackets like that and the semicolon. So the function is only from here to here. This line, this statement, this one is not inside the function. This one only calls the function. Let's run the script and see what will happen. As you can see, there is nothing wrong. The script executed correctly and the function printed out the word hello, and that's what I asked the function to do. Also, it's not important to call the function at the beginning of the script. You can call it from anywhere you want. Here example, or another example. Let's call it and see if I'm going to get the same result or not. And sure enough, I got the same result. Now maybe someone will ask me a question, why in the first place I need to create a function? I could just say echo hello and that's it, and I'm going to get the same result. The answer for this is functions are used to make the programmer life easier, or to make the programmer method of or repeating method easier. Means he doesn't need to repeat again and again and again the same thing. Just he can call the function whenever he needs this function. For example, if I have a function that will add two numbers or multiply two numbers, okay, and I need this function in many places in my script, okay, I don't need to I didn't need to create it every time I want the function. I can just create it one time and call it as many times as I want. This is why in the first place we use functions. Let me move to another subject. Here in this first example, the function has no parameters, nothing. I just created a very easy function, very simple function, to show you how functions work. Now say if I want to add parameters to the function, what to do? Basically I can add as many parameters as I want inside this round brackets here. For example, I want to add a parameter called name. For example, I will call it name, and parameter, sorry, must be a variable like that, okay. And because it's only one parameter here, I said I can add as many parameters as I want, okay. And if there are many parameters or more than that one parameter, also I can do it, but I have to use a comma between the parameters, okay. Now I want to call this function, okay. Because this function has a parameter here, I said to the function you should have this parameter. If I run this script now, I will have an error. Let's run it. Okay, sure enough, I got an error. or got errors here. Okay, why? Because this function requires parameter, and I have here to pass the parameters to the function. Okay, so in order to do that, I will pass a parameter to the function. For example, I suppose someone name is Bob, for example. Okay, here. So now I'm passing the parameter Bob to the function. The function here will have the parameter it wants. So I am not going to have error, but also I will have the same result as before. Okay, which was hello. Let's try it. Sure enough, I got it. Okay, but for what in the first place I pass a parameter to the function? Basically, I want to use this parameter inside the function. So I want to use this name, this variable or this parameter inside the curly brackets, like that. I can, instead of saying hello, I just want to say hello Bob. Hello Bob, like that. I place the dot and the variable name is going to be name, like that. If I print this like this, I will have name, I will have hello joined to Bob with no spaces at all. But here I will add just a space to make it readable for human. Okay, let's try it now. And sure enough, I got hello Bob. Now if I change this Bob to John or Jim, like example, okay, and call it, I will have hello Jim. Okay, so I don't need to write another code for Jim. It's the same person or the same function, and it can be called again and again and again. Now I want to show you something else. If I passed no variable or no parameter to the function while it requires a parameter, I will have an error, right? Let's try, and sure enough I get the error. Is there any way to call a function without passing its parameters and I don't get an error? Yes. In order to do that, I will give the parameter a default value. For example, here in the function itself, I will say this equals unknown. Okay, unknown means I'm telling PHP now, I'm telling the PHP or the function here, if no parameter passed to you, consider the variable or the parameter name equals to unknown. So let's try it out now. It should work fine. Yes, it says to me hello unknown. Okay, but if I passed a parameter to it, it will print unknown or the parameter. I'm expecting it to print the parameter value. Okay, so I will type Bob here, and yes, sure enough I got Bob, despite I'm giving a default value of unknown to the parameter name. And this is how we can use the default value for a parameter. I hope that was useful and helpful for you, and thank you very much for watching my video, and this to be continued. Bye.